Hello chums! Today I'll be showing you an easy method to earn credits in Gran Turismo 7 using the custom race feature without any engine swaps or expensive cars. This method is still working as of the 1.50 update and will earn 400,000 credits in 11 minutes, or just over 2 million credits per hour. That is about equal to the fastest cars at that god-awful Tokyo race if you ride the walls. However, this method is much easier. Let's meet your new moneymaker. It is, of course, the Suzuki Jimny. You can buy it from Brand Central for about the same price as a takeaway fish and chips in the UK. It comes in an array of lovely colours too. Bonus. Once you've bought this absolute weapon, you'll want to throw all of the Go Faster parts on it, the most important being the power restrictor, ballast and nitrous. But instead of racing tyres, we'll need snow tyres for this method. After we've gone through the tuning shop, we'll fit a wide body, but it's absolutely imperative that you don't get the engine swap, or this method won't be as efficient. With the arches very thoroughly tugged, we need some new wheels. The reason we use a wide body and aftermarket wheels is because they sit further outwards, making the car a bit more stable, because its centre of gravity will be lower. As you can see, I've also applied an utterly spectacular livery, because Castrol looks good on everything. I'm sure we won't find any exceptions to that, will we? Once you've turned your Jimny into a true hypercar slayer, we need to tweak it. Believe it or not, we're going to lower it and stiffen it, even for snow driving. The reason for this is that if we leave the car with a high ride height and a lower natural frequency, it will lean and wallow all over the place, to the point that it's liable to basically fall over. The other important thing is to alter the front-rear torque distribution to 50-50, so that all the wheels get equal power sent to them. This gives us more traction in the snow, something owners of older BMWs will tell you is a very good thing. Next, we'll tweak the gearing. The fastest this car will go is roughly 150 miles per hour, so we need the ratios as efficient as we can get them in that speed range. Set the first few gears really wide and then close them up as we get to top gear so that the car stays in its power band. Make sure the top speed in gear 5 is set to 270 km per hour. Now we max out the nitrous. Right, the car is ready to race. Now we need to ruin it. Save this setup and make a new one. For the second setup, we need to take off all of the parts that enlarge your PP. That includes custom suspension, transmission, turbo, intake and exhaust, brakes and clutch parts. We also need to limit the power using the ECU and the power restrictor and add 200 kilos of ballast. At the end of all of this, your PP should shrink dramatically to under 200 points. So we have a powerful setup and a nerfed setup. Now we need to meet your opponent. Head over to your friendly Nissan dealership and obtain yourself an R35 GTR Nismo for about the same price as a mouldy one-bedroom apartment in the UK. Now we need to buy all of the parts for it again and snow tyres. Our aim is for this car to have more than 700 performance points on snow tyres, while being slow enough for our little Suzuki wheelie bin to beat it. I did try to see if I could get away with not adding all of the performance parts to reach 700 points, but you pretty much need everything except for the ridiculously pricey Stage 5 weight loss, which is about the same price as an actual house. With all that done, we also need a wide body, aftermarket wheels, front splitter, and rear diffuser. These will all help to inflate the R35's PP even further. Now we need to head into the settings and max the front downforce and reduce the rear. This should just about tip the car over the 700 point mark. To buy and fully upgrade both cars for this method will cost you roughly 900,000 credits in total. With that done, we now need to make sure our little wheelie bin can beat it, so we'll limit the car's top speed by adjusting the gear ratios. You can adjust the gears to about 70 km an hour or 40 miles per hour to make this a walk in the park, but then these Nismos will get in the way as you lap them. So for this, we'll set the top speed to roughly 195 km an hour. In theory, we should just have to overtake them the once throughout the race and we won't lap them. Hello, this is Fossil Fueled from the future. If you set the top speed to 195, you will potentially lap these cars. Set it to 200 or 205. On to the race itself. The chosen track is the Lake Louise snow track in Canada. To maximise your earnings, we need to tick a few boxes first though. Number 1. The Jimny must have less than 200 performance points. Number 2. The Nissan must have over 700 performance points. 3. The higher your collector level, the more you get paid. And 4. Circuit experience. Completing circuit experience will increase rewards for custom races at the corresponding track, and achieving all gold will maximise your rewards. I will upload a video guide to the circuit experience for Lake Louise to accompany this video. If you haven't done all of these, you won't be able to earn 2 million credits per hour. Now, let's create our race. Get into the Nismo GTR and fly to Canada. Shouldn't take long. Before you set up the race, head into the options menu and change your units to kilometers. I'll explain it in a moment. Now, head to custom race. Choose the tri-oval reverse because it's the easiest to use this method. Set the lap counter to 11 because that's how long the nitrous will last. We want a rolling start, and we want the rolling start interval set to 50 meters. If your units are set to miles, this will glitch and not work. If your unit is set to kilometers, you can adjust it freely. Now, make sure you start last to increase the payouts further. Make sure boost is turned off, and slipstream can be set to whatever you prefer. Now, max out the nitrous multiplier, so that your danger to manifold can last as long as possible. Daylit snow hurts my eyes, so I set the time to night, plus it looks pretty. Now, we set the rival selection to select from garage and the difficulty to professional. If you check the rivals, they should all have your fast but slow R35 GTR. Now you need to save your settings and give it a memorable name. Once that's done, we can swap back to the Suzuki Jimny. Make sure it has the sub 200 performance point setup applied and select your custom race. If everything's gone to plan, your potential winnings should be over 260,000 credits, and your opponents should all be in GTRs, so we can load up the race. Once you're in the race menu, you can switch to the fully upgraded setup and start the race. So, the reason I've set the rolling start interval to 50 meters is so that the opponents aren't all bunched up together and difficult to pass without losing your clean race bonus. We need to be quite strategic with the nitrous so that it lasts the full 11 laps, so we'll be letting go of the nitrous button on the first corner, the second corner and the jumps. If you just hold down the nitrous fully, for the whole race it will last about 10 laps. Overtaking must be done carefully over the first few laps to make sure that we don't hit any opponents and lose the clean race bonus. Now that we're past, I can walk you through a full lap a bit more easily. Let off the nitrous over the start line jump, back on the nitrous when you land, release the nitrous again as you hit the wall into turn 1, coming back on the nitrous about 2/3 of the way through. For the next corner, turn in when you see the yellow cushion barriers on the right, releasing the nitrous at the same time. Get back on the nitrous roughly when you hit the apex. Release the nitrous over the next crest and back on when you land. And now you can do the rest of the lap full throttle with nitrous. You should average 59-second laps for the rest of the race. If you're having trouble getting past the Nissans, you can simply shorten their gear ratios in the settings so that they're slower. Fast forwarding to the last lap, you can see that I miscalculated the gear ratios for the Nissans, so we're now starting to lap them. If this happens to you, it shouldn't affect your clean race bonus if you do accidentally collide with them, but it's best to play it safe anyway. The race is completed in just under 11 minutes, so it takes less than half as long as the standard grinding races. The fastest Sardinia tunes I've seen typically take around 23 minutes for 740,000, and the fastest wall-riding Tokyo races I've seen are about 24 minutes for 825k, and since the latest update, that may be slower. With the clean race bonus, our 11-minute romp in the snow awards us just under 400k. Now that is a lot of fish and chips. Here's one last trick if you plan on repeating this race. Hit retry after you've received your winnings, and then head into the settings menu for your car. This triggers a minor glitch that resets the mileage. So when you restart the race, you'll now see that the mileage has reset to 0, meaning you never have to change the oil. So, that's my method to earn fast credits in Gran Turismo 7 the lazy way, an easy alternative to the mind-numbing 2-year-old world touring car races. I hope this helped. Thank you very much for watching, and if you found this useful, I would be very grateful for your subscription. Take care and ta-ra.